Body Break with Hal Johnson and Joanne McLeod.
It is estimated that you can live about 40 days without food, 3 to 5 days without water, but only a few minutes without oxygen. Oxygen gas, a vital chemical compound essential to human life, enters the body through the nose and nasal cavity and enters the bloodstream through the alveoli in the lungs. That is why I believe the lungs are the best organ in the human body. Let's start by examining the pathway of air from the nostrils to the alveoli in the lungs. The lungs are just one structure in a complex system called the respiratory system. First, we go through the nose and enter the nasal cavity where the air is warmed and humidified. Then comes the pharynx, which is split up into 3 regions: nasopharynx, oropharynx, and laryngopharynx. Next, we move past the epiglottis and through the larynx, which contains the vocal cords. Now we move on to the trachea. This specialized structure, along with the bronchial tubes, distribute air into the left and right lungs. Bronchial tubes branch extensively in each lung, resulting in tiny bronchioles which divide further to form alveolar ducts. Once the air arrives here, it reaches an alveolar sac, which is comprised of alveoli bunched in a grape-like structure, surrounded by a fine mesh of capillaries. This is the primary structure for gas exchange. Gas exchange occurs across the respiratory membrane formed between the basement membranes of both the capillaries, which are part of the vascular system, and the alveoli. Gas diffuses across this membrane due to the variations in pressure from one side to the other. The partial pressure of oxygen is higher in the capillaries than it is in the alveoli. This causes oxygen to move out of the alveoli and into the capillaries, where it can be transported to the heart via red blood cells and further distributed to the rest of the body. The opposite also happens, so that the body can expel CO2 via the same process. How do we get air into the lungs? It starts with the brain. In the medulla, there are 2 interconnected centers for controlling breathing: the inspiratory center and the expiratory center. The inspiratory center sends a signal to the intercostal muscles and the diaphragm, thus causing them to contract and expand upward and outward. This pulls on the parietal and visceral pleura, which assist in lung inflation. Negative pressure created in the lungs due to this expansion draws air in to equalize the pressure inside and out of the lungs. The pons also plays a role in respiration. It can increase the length and depth of inspiration and also prevent the overinflation of the lungs. In summary, the lungs are essential to life and better than anything else that has ever existed. The end.